In the world that spins around, full of noise without a bound, there's a voice that's calm and deep. It's Eric G with thoughts to keep. Random thoughts with Eric G, where ideas flow and minds are free. Every story, every angle, a mental journey to untangle. Random thoughts with Eric G. Oh, in the random thoughts with Eric G.
All right, y'all. Back. Vibe off Anthony one time, y'all. Come on. Rest in peace to Andy Stone, y'all. We're gonna do this one more time for the one time. Let's get it. Come on.
Hiding place when someone has hurt you.
Come on, y'all. Andy, come
Written on your face, and it reads,
on. Go.
broken spirit, lost and confused, empty, scared, used and abused.
So there.
A fool.
Y'all know this song your mama was playing while she was at the house. Y'all know this song your mama played after that man that broke my heart. Andy Stone was the gateway to our life. In the background to all our
And
thoughts.
the smile
Rest
you
in peace,
used
Andy
to
Stone.
wear
Let's play. Come on, let's vibe
seems
on.
a little bit out of place. Hold on, inside it gets a
And
little
from the Afro man.
better. Oh,
From the Afro to Andy tonight.
has come. My sunshine, and I'm all cried out, and there's no more rain. There's no more rain. No, no, my sunshine has come.
Come on, y'all. One more time for Andy. Let's get it.
And there's no more rain in this cloud. So you want to live, and to you I shall give all the space that you requested. Hope you don't live to regret it. So you say you're in your prime, baby, don't waste your time. Remember my love, it's only a thin line.
Already trying to block the tackle. Already.
Has come.
Probably
My sunshine,
it's the remix version. They trying to block the already. Like I ain't making no money.
you know it's time for rain. Has come. My sunshine, and I'm all cried out. There's no more rain in this cloud. Spring has come, and winter's gone, my love. But don't look around for me, child. I'll be gone, gone. Not afraid, because the seasons have changed. I'm gonna count my blessings and just follow the sun.
All right. That's enough. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all beautiful black, white, and brown people doing? This is your little big brother, Eric G. I want to welcome y'all to a brand new episode of Random Thoughts with Eric G. It's me, Eric G. Hey, y'all, man. Look, before I get to my random thought, man, I just gotta say, I don't know who idea was it for me to work a double the night I scheduled to do a live interview, but I guess it was my idea. It's my show, but I had to work a double. Then come here, try to come home and do a live interview. I'm running off on 20%. And I ain't gonna lie to you, Monster's about to rehab my life right now. Not sponsored, but needed. I'll be. Hey, y'all, man. So anyway, let's get into it, man. Random thought. And I'm gonna say this random thought real quick, man, because I don't think y'all understand the trauma I got going on in my life right now, man. And it's really kind of scary. Like, I don't know if anybody is on is subscribed to Fashion Nova. And before y'all judge, yes, my big ass be ordering Fashion Nova. That's just that's my personal business. Get out of it. Yes, I order Fashion Nova. I don't care what you say. Fashion Nova men's comes in XXL sizes. I order it. Okay. But anyway, but Fashion Nova had this thing where that if you subscribe to them, they send you like alerts and whatever. But whoever's working the Fashion Nova alert messaging board, I need you to get your mess together. Okay. There's no way in the hell I should be at work getting a message talking about Yo, hey, my nigga, where the hoes at? And I'm looking around like, who the hell is texting me? Open up the message. It's talking about the hoes are right here in these ripped jeans, new from Fashion Nova. I'm, I'm sitting there, I'm at work again another day. I'm hearing, hey, yo, you punk ass nigga. Yo, I open the message. I'm like, no damn way nobody trying to flip. Like, what's up? Open up the message. Hey, are you ready for these 20% off? Now, subscribe to Fashion Nova. Look, whoever run a Fashion Nova website, messaging board, whatever you call it, you be prepared to see these hands, okay? And they come one size fits all, man. But anyway, that's just my random thought. I done. I's done. Hey yo, so man, look, everybody know, man, I am on the start of my random week, man, my viewers week. I've had people who actually inboxed me and said they would love to be on the show. This is the perfect week for me to have these guests on the show, man, and we talk about every topic comes to mind. I had my brother uh uh James yesterday, and yo, he talked about his fashion line that which is I'm gonna say Red Crown. Y'all check him out, man. He's a mentor, a community leader. He's Mr. 100, sorry, Mr. 180's Man of the Year, man. Check him out too. Check out his magazine, um, Mr. 180. Hey, y'all, man. So tonight it's another night, man. I have this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young lady that's stepping on the show tonight. Hold on, I got messages already. I want to make sure. Cause last time y'all said y'all couldn't hear me. What we got going on? Hold on. Uh, I'm just being honest, Daddy. Hey, but so tonight I have this beautiful, beautiful young lady that's coming on the show tonight, and she is not a new guest, man. She has always been on. She's been a big supporter of mine. I actually consider her husband as a mentor. I'm so happy that she asked me to share her story. Y'all is gonna love it. I had her husband on my show at the beginning of the season, and I'm having her on towards the end. Man, I can't wait, man. But I know her story is remarkable, man. Coming from where she came from and where she's at now, she's a she's an entrepreneur. She's a go getter. She's a first lady of a church, and she do not play with nobody. And yo, she has the heart of a gold boy, but she had the iron claws. Hey yo, let me bring in the wonderful, the talented Miss Lashawn Sams. Jankety. Hey, what's up? You there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm going to do the split screen. Get everybody right.
Okay.
Yeah,
How you doing?
I'm alive. I can't complain. I'm alive. I can't complain.
That's right.
There we go. Oh, this is my new setup for Riverside, and I'm telling you, if anybody don't know, I hate this already. Hey man, so how you feeling, Miss Sam? How you feeling?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Same here. I can't complain. I'm alive and well,
Yes,
so
ma'am. Yes,
that's a blessing in itself,
yes,
right?
and looking lovely every time I see you. Look at you now.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
Hey,
that.
no problem, no problem. As I said in the beginning that I mean you was not no new guest. You've been on my show before. You and your husband, y'all came on to share a little bit of a couple's advice. Give this schooling us youngers, your youngest schooling us and getting us right for the real world. And also I've had your husband on my show at the beginning of this season, and he spoke about his life, man, coming from where he came from through the hustle, through the game, and to get to a bigger calling, man. And I was so happy to hear that. And you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
crazy because I know y'all like our mentor, me and my wife's mentor. So
Oh,
and you don't even see, y'all don't even know that. But we look up to y'all, man, and we love that y'all keep it real. Y'all not afraid of your past, and you be honest, man. You're so honest. So before we get started, can you let everybody know who you are if they don't already know?
good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lashawn Sam. I am the wife of Pastor James Sam. We live in Raleigh, North Carolina. Well, close to Raleigh. We live on the outskirts. I won't say what city, but that's where we at. I
Oh,
have four beautiful children. Janasia is the oldest, then Justin, Jordan, and Josiah, and then we have one grandbaby, and then we have a special addition to our family. She made us her parents, her spiritual parents, so her name is Sati. So that's our special
hey.
daughter.
Oh man, that's beautiful, man. See, look, I love when black people come together and just make it look all like easy. Love, I love it. Hey, so like I said before, you are the first lady, and a gracious one is that, man. If y'all don't know, but back in the day, she's slaying them shoes now, slaying them, the stilettos now. If anybody
Mhm.
remember my old shows, I used to promote it. So everybody like, what? Why are you promoting stilettos? But anyway, hey yo, so Miss LaShawn, man, before we get into everything, like I said, I idolize y'all. I think y'all are a wonderful couple. Y'all give us so much great advice, and watching y'all come through all the things y'all came through is inspiring. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta get all the niceness out of the way before we get deep tonight, because again, I know we're gonna get deep.
Right.
So you about to embark on being a author. Man, you do everything.
Yes.
You got so much going on in your life, and you about to be an author. Can you let everybody know about your book you're writing? Was that Queen's Love Story?
Hmm.
Go ahead.
So it's from a Queen's love story. It started all back in 1989
Mm,
in the city of Queens, New York. Um, so I'm writing this book about my life story, how LaShawn and well James and LaShawn, how we came about. So that's what it's about, and it touches a lot of different areas. The book does.
right, right. Um, I got a chance to touch base with your husband on his upbringing and what brought him to where he's at now. And like I said, behind every strong man is a stronger woman. And everything that he been through, I know you was there for it. So let us know. Let's get us ready for this. Let's take us back to the 80s. Hey, before the 80s. Let's take us back further than that. Who
Mhm.
is LaShawn?
Well, I'm going to say that LaShawn is a ball of strength because where I came from, um, to be honest with you, I wasn't supposed to be here today. So I would say that's who LaShawn is. LaShawn is an overcomer. LaShawn is, I have self love for myself now when I once didn't. Um, so that's who I am. I'm humble. I am always learning. I am very eager to learn. So that's who I am. I look at life totally different now than I did, back then.
Right.
So
Right. So back then, so was you born and raised in Queens, or did you just grew up there?
no, I was born and raised in Queens.
Oh man. So that means you know how to fight. So
Sure do.
oh man. So tell us about your upbringing. What was your home life like growing up?
My home life, growing up, it started off really good. It started off, really well. Um, it was my mother and my two brothers. Back then, well, actually, it was just me and my brother back then. And we had a very good upbringing, but we were also going into the time where the crack epidemic came about. Um, and my mom eventually had got into um, using drugs. I believe, if I'm correct, I think it first started off with cocaine and then it went into crack
Mm.
cocaine.
Was that because at that time frame, before the 80s, cocaine was like everywhere at that time, right?
It was.
I guess there was an easy transition from that to when crack actually hit in the 80s. I think a
Hmm.
lot of people was easier because it was cheaper and it was easy to grab, right?
Yeah, and it was a gateway. So I
Mm.
mean, a gateway drug that leads to other things.
Mm. Like what was your idea? Did you know at that time that as a child, like, okay, something's going? Hold on, freeze. I'm sorry. Did you know at that time as a child, like, something's going on with my mom? Like, she's something wrong, or
No, at that time I didn't know because she still worked every day. She kept a job. We had a roof over our head. We had clothes. So I didn't know that there was anything going on as far as her using drugs. I was a child. All I knew was that that was my mother. you know and that
Yeah.
we were happy children. That's all I knew, so I didn't
Right.
know
Right.
anything else.
Oh man. So and, it's crazy because I sit back and look back on my life too. It was a lot of times that we grew up. When you're a kid, back in our day, especially my day anyway, that children stayed in church and places. So we weren't supposed to know what the adults was doing. It was, you
Absolutely.
know, we had to get out of the room when they was talking. So I know back then y'all definitely had to get out of the room.
We
But
sure did.
oh man, so growing up in Queens, man. So what if you can go back into that time? Let's take a trip back. You going
Hmm.
back in the time the epidemic has just hit. Like you said, you don't see it at home like that yet because you don't know what's going on. What was your circle? What was your life? Was it you into the church at that time, or was you just like just going because you had to? What was your life?
No, we never went to church. The only time we went to church was on Easter. That's it. On Easter,
Mm,
we would get dressed up and go to church. So I didn't know anything about Jesus. I didn't
mm,
know anything about who this God was. Now I heard about him, but I
mm,
didn't know anything about him. I
okay.
would hear bits and parts and pieces of people talking about God, but I had no idea because that was something that we just didn't do. And my family is originally from Jamaica. So most of the time, people from the West Indies or the Caribbean, they're into the Catholic
Mm,
faith.
mm.
So, like I said, the only time we went to church really was on Easter.
So how did that affect you then? Like you just grew up like no, like look, it is what it is. We're gonna enjoy life and whatever happens comes, right?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it was.
Now, so I know for a fact now. Now if I ain't mistaken, I remember that you said that how you met your husband, Jimmy. How you met your husband? How you met you actually grew up together, but you really wasn't checking him out until I think he had moved away and came back, right?
Well, I had moved away.
Okay.
We had moved away, and then we came back. And when we moved back to New York, I moved on the same block, which my grandmother was the one that lived there. And
Mm.
so we moved back, and then that's when him and I ran into each other again.
So what was the first initial reaction for you? 'Cause I know you was a thoroughbred. What was the initial reaction for you?
He is fine. I thought he was the cutest thing ever.
Oh, come on now. Well, you know what? I ain't gonna say it all out. Nicole thought the same thing about me. But anyway,
Lord.
it's just us red people, us red guys. We got it going on.
Hmm. Them yellow men. That's right.
So from there, like, cause I know I'm trying to really get into your story. 'Cause I don't want to
Mhm.
feel like I'm rushing into your story. Um, where was your mind at around that time? Because now you met this boy you seen before. You're like, okay,
Mhm.
he's fine, and like you said, stuff is going on at home and you don't know it yet. So Lashawn is where?
So, um, at that point in my life, I was just getting into my teenage years. So, I had a lot of stuff going on with me.
Right.
I had things that happened to me in my childhood that I carried.
Oh.
And so, as a teenager, I was troubled by then.
Mm,
So I was getting into everything. I would
mm,
fight in a minute. I
mm,
mean, it didn't take nothing for me to fight.
right.
Um, I fight girls, guys, it didn't matter.
Mm.
Whoever I felt like, disrespecting me, that's what I did.
But was that was
Um,
that was that put on from like the trauma you already had such a young age, or you like look just my neighborhood?
no, it was from the trauma because I felt like I got to defend myself at all means.
Mm,
So I wasn't going to let anybody hurt, disrespect, or
mm,
me feel like anybody taking anything from me. And so what I did was that was just what I did. I did it, I guess, hurt people, right? That's
mm,
what they say. And for me, it was I just didn't care.
mm.
And a young person at that age that really don't care is really dangerous.
Yeah, that is true. It's many times that I shared with me and your husband talked is that I knew from me growing up, I lost my mom at a very young age. We moved to my grandmother, and we moved. It was my first chance actually like knowing the hood. We from the hood, but I didn't know the hood until I moved to my grandmother. And I told everybody, I said, I remember getting that, and I was getting that environment. I'm so used to being a little red kid up under my mom, to now I'm gonna have to be a third. I had to fight, like, so you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying. And I had to like channel all that anger I had in me. So at that age, how did you allow yourself to find any type of like connection with anybody then? Because I know it was hard. Could you find any connection with anybody, or you just held up a wall?
No, I to be honest, I did. I held up a wall because I felt like, everybody owed me something.
Mm,
I was hurt, as a child. I was, things were taken away from me as a child. I was abused as a first of all, I was molested as a child. It started at probably maybe around the age of 8.
oh
Um,
wow.
and so that molestation actually turned into full blown sexual abuse. So an adult man having sex with an 8-year-old child. And so I felt like, everybody owed me something. So for me, it was like, I kept walls up. I won't trying to love nobody because I felt like love hurt me. So why should I love? You
Right.
know? And so it was hard for me to show that. So yes, I did have walls up.
Mm,
But I will say the one person that I confided in one day, I'll never
mm,
forget it. I confided in that one person, and
mm,
that's when the walls started to come down, but they didn't come down completely because I was already, for me, I felt like I was damaged goods, you
right.
know,
Right. Right.
low self-esteem, just mean. I was horrible. I was so mean.
So what would you consider be mean? What was the meanest thing you remember doing?
Oh my goodness. I can't even remember at this point, Eric. I did so much. It's crazy. I can remember one time, in high school, I had a math teacher,
Mm,
and I like I said, I just didn't care. So I
mm,
had a math teacher, and I walked into the classroom late, and so he tried to say something to me. So I went behind him, and I stood behind him, and his head was bald, right? And so the first thing that I did, I just slapped him on his head, and the class just fell out. Everybody was just cracking up, and of course I got in trouble. Security
mm.
came, and all that stuff, trying to tell me I assaulted the teacher.
Oh God.
But yeah, I did a lot of stuff. I was really mean.
Hold on a second. I got a message. Hold on a second. See what I got. Oh, people just tagging names. Okay. Okay. Let me make sure. Like, ooh. I said, all right. Anyway, so you say you could find in that one person. Do you remember that one person that you said you finally let open? I mean,
Hmm.
into who was it?
Jimmy Sam.
Oh, snap now. Uh-uh. The red. I tell you, the red man's coming through in the right time. So what was it about him though? What was it at that time? I know you said you thought he was cute, or whatever, but I know, and I know, and it probably plenty of little knuckleheads back then thought trying to holler. But what was it about him at that time that made you say, you know what, I'm gonna trust you with this secret in my life?
I think it was because he showed himself to really genuinely care,
Mm,
and I hadn't received that from anyone in a long time.
right.
And so I trusted him because for me, it was like love at first sight. And
Mm,
so I knew that this person was for me because there was nobody else there for me at that particular point in my life. He was the only one that was there.
mm,
And so I entrusted him with that. But um, sometimes I look back at that day and I'm like, did I put a burden on him that he
mm,
carried, all this time? Because I feel like after I told him that one secret, he took on the responsibility of protecting me. And that was the only person that I ever felt safe with.
right. But I think that's what all like young, especially young men. What I'm saying, if you ever feel, it's not even just that a burden. It's just the fact is that that's the right thing to do.
Hmm.
It been situations I've had in my life, and I can't tell everybody's business. I'm not gonna tell everybody stuff, but I've had situations in my life where I've had people confide into me, and I'm like, look, I'm gonna be your protector. It's not even just a burden; I'm a natural protector. it's naturally gonna come out of me. It's naturally gonna make me feel like, okay, cool. I got. It's not just a save complex. I just got to make sure that you're good. You know.
Mhm.
And I've always try to lead with my heart when a lot of and it got me hurt a lot of times. Leading with
Mhm.
my heart got me hurt a lot of times. But yeah, but you know what I'm saying. But this is sweet. No,
You,
I'm gonna go from sweet to back into it, and I'm kind of scared to go back into it.
but you know,
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead. So I'm gonna say getting back into the depths of everything else. We're in the '80s. We're in Queens. New York City at the time was the 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 ground floor of the crack epidemic. What what was you seeing? 'Cause I know you say you knew your mom, you found out your mom was, but what was you seeing? Was you seeing the change in his people? Because I remember I talked to Jim and he said the same
Absolutely.
thing. He seen the people in the neighborhood change. What was that vision? Can you let us know what you seen at that time?
I seen the change too. It was different where the kids are going to, we going to the park to hang out, and you seeing crack valves in the park. You seeing broken crack pipes all over the place. The people, they're not, Queens used to be a city where you see everybody come outside, all the kids are playing together, the parents outside. Now you seeing the parents walking around like late at night, you know, walking the streets. You see the people getting skinny. Face is dark. It's like it was crazy. I mean, I remember one time my aunt came over to visit, and she was always we've always known her to be kind of like a heavyset woman.
Mm-hmm.
But the day that she came over, she probably was as small. She's probably I would say she was probably about a size 16. And then when we seen her, she was probably about a size 5 or 3
Oh
in women,
wow.
so a small. So people were losing weight. Um, People's kids that used to be dressed real nice and stuff like that. Now they're not dressed, like they used to dress.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of changes going on back then during the crack epidemic in Queens.
And yo, and like I said, for a young lady like yourself, you seeing everything, you dealing with a secret that's holding you in, and you like, look, man, it's either sink or swim. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I see what you're doing. And so I kind of understand now the I guess you call it the rough edge you had at the time. And like I said, I'm a man who's seen a lot of tragedy too, so I get it. So you coming from everything. I remember I'm trying to compare the stories. I remember
Hmm.
talking to your husband. He says that's around the time that he got into the game.
Hmm.
He got into the game. Where were you at while he was starting this new venture down? What was you at this time?
Well, I was in high school.
Mm,
So it wasn't so much that I was in high school. I hung out at the high school because I wasn't in class. So
mm,
I hung out the high school. So it was like he had his group of friends, I had my group of friends, um, things like that. So I was still in school, but he was doing his thing and he was just my boyfriend. And
mm.
everybody knew about him. Everybody knew about me because I was the one that was always fighting. And he was always coming up to my school to come protect me or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh
I
man.
was in school. I was still in high school around that time.
Oh man.
But I was also, even though I was in high school, I was also pretty much grown because I was doing everything on my own.
Mm. So where was mom at the time? 'Cause I remember you said she got into it.
Hmm.
If I'm doing too much, just tell me I'm doing too much. But where was mom at the time? Because you said that she was getting into it. You know, she made the transition from one to the next. Where
Hmm.
was she at?
She was still home. She was still in the house.
Okay.
Um, and she still, did work, or whatever, but she was in and out. My cousins and my aunts and them, they lived in Harlem.
Mm,
They lived real close to the Apollo. They lived close to the Apollo Theater on 125th. They lived on 135th.
okay.
And my aunt used to be a barmaid in like a after hour spot. So my
Mm,
mom would go up there and she would hang out up there and she would be up there for days. we wouldn't hear from her or anything. So it would be me and my brothers in the house, and I would be taking care of my brothers. Sometimes she would hang out with my other aunt, and they would go to Far Rockaway. That's another part of Queens.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they would just hang out and do what they did, and
Mm.
I did what I did
Which was in them streets.
in them streets.
In them streets. Oh man, so now you got a man that's out here in the streets, who's really out here in the streets. You at home, you're playing mom, you're fighting. A chick better not look sideways.
Right.
She better not look sideways. Where are we going now? Like we're in high school. What's the next step though? Where are we going there? Because I know it said right this time. That's when I guess your boyfriend at the time ended up going to jail. So where are we going?
Well, we was while he was, doing what he was doing, like I was there for it all. So, while he was doing what he was doing, I was still, hanging out with my friends. I was, in the clubs doing, all of those things. Um, it's like I didn't have any goals. I didn't have any aspirations to do, anything better. For me, it was just all about hanging out, being around him, hanging out with my friends and stuff like that. There was no plan. There
Mm,
was no where do we go from here. I didn't have a plan. I didn't
mm.
have a plan for my life.
Oh man. So, but you knew that this the guy you wanted to be with. What held you so strong to him when everything was going down? What made you like, look, I'm gonna still ride or die for this man?
Because he was the one that was there for me. I can remember times where, and I have to be really honest, I can remember times where I might not have even had anything to eat if it wasn't for this man. And he was a teenage boy himself.
Right, right, right.
And so there was plenty of nights, plenty of days that he fed me, he fed my brothers. There was plenty of days that, he helped my mom out. So, I knew that this was somebody that really had um my best interest at heart. And we now granted we were young now,
Right.
so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of course, he did his thing, I did my thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew that regardless of the fact, we still had each other's back.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's why, I decided like when he started getting in trouble, I'm gonna be there for him.
Right. And you know what? I think that's the thing that people got to understand too. I think, ooh, I'm gonna say this. I would say true love. True love is, and forgive me for cussing, whatever, but true love is a hell of a drug. I'm gonna tell everybody, true love is a drug. Like, true love will have us doing stuff we ain't supposed to be doing.
Right.
Oh man, but was it ever a point where you like, you know what, I don't want to do this, especially at the beginning stage. Like, I'd rather just leave and figure this out on my own.
To be honest, no, not really, because um I looked at him as, first and foremost, I looked at him as like my best friend.
Mm,
So I couldn't see life without him. You know what I mean? We
right,
was there for each other. That was my ride. I was his ride or die. He was my ride or die. So I couldn't really see life without him.
right,
So for me, that was my family, at that age, because I didn't have that. Um, my father who raised me, he wasn't in my life. My biological father wasn't there.
mhm,
And so, I think I had all of those things wrapped up in him,
right,
even at his young age,
mhm,
and so I didn't have the male figure in my life to protect. I didn't have the male figure to support. I didn't
mhm,
have the male figure to cheer me on. I didn't
mhm,
have that. So for me, rejection was a big thing, you know, and so I didn't get that from him,
mm.
so that was one of the things that drew me to him.
Oh man, that's beautiful, man. I mean, people don't understand that sometimes you got to go through it to get to the other side, and that's going
Hmm.
through it. And in this story, it's been a few times y'all went through it. It's been a few
Sure
times.
did.
It's been a
Yes.
few times we went through it. I'm trying to take a fast
Mm-hmm.
forward a little bit because now, say I remember that your husband said he got out, and he tried to get himself right. I know you were sitting cheering him on the side,
Hmm.
and then he said, "You know what? I'm going back out here in the streets again."
Hmm.
At this time, was you still out there? Was you still out there? Say, look, I'm still gonna ride with you until the wheels fall off, but I'm gonna swing on any chick to run up.
I mean, you gotta look at it like this, Eric. Two
Mm,
teenagers in the
yeah.
streets of Queens, New York, back in the day, right?
Mhm,
Making money, you know, um, driving what you want to drive, wearing what you want to wear, jewelry
mm,
for days. Who wouldn't want that as
yeah.
as a teenager?
Yeah.
And so, all the popularity, everybody knew, Jimmy and LaShawn, they knew us,
Right.
so who wouldn't want that? So yeah, I was there for it,
Right.
and again, um, back then I like to dress nice. I like to have, new sneakers every 2 weeks. I like to have my jewelry. I had gold teeth. I had all of that. I mean, yeah, I was there for it. Whatever he was doing, I was riding. I was right there by his side.
Oh man. So when by this side, what brought y'all down to North Carolina? I remember y'all I had a conversation, and we're gonna move a little
Hmm.
bit further up, 'cause I think we should be
Right.
touching the '90s. So what brought y'all
Hmm.
on down here in North Carolina?
Um, so when we came to North Carolina, I remember the last time that my husband got locked up, he did state that, when he came home, he was like, we're gonna get married when we get married, moving down south. I didn't believe him. Um, but that's what happened. We got married and we moved to North Carolina. We wanted to have a different life.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask this side note question
Hmm.
because every reformed drug dealer I know moved from New York to North Carolina. What is it about
Right.
North Carolina that was such a fantasy for New York people?
I don't know. I think it was this. When you watch the movies back in the day,
Hmm.
you would see that, like you just said, all of the drug dealers when they move. First of all, most of most of the drug dealers that were coming from New York would take 95 South to come
Hmm.
get weight and go back.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's how you knew North Carolina. you
Hmm.
know. So a lot of them will come down to North Carolina, and so North Carolina was like a big, a better place where you can start over, where you can, so that was the dream to start over, you
Hmm.
know, and so that's why we decided to come to North Carolina.
Oh man, Lord. Ah, I can see. I know when y'all got that here, but it heated up even more. Oh man. So now, because I know the story, so now I'm bringing up both stories. 'Cause I want to see. I always want to know your side of the story, because
Hmm.
because Pastor Sam told me some stuff. I'm like, I'm clenching my pearls over here, and so I'm and I done seen it all. Like I'm over here, like, oh my god. Can we get into the night of the shootout?
Hmm.
Can we get into the night of shootout? I think you said you have. I think your daughter was you just had your daughter, right?
Right. Well, I didn't just have her. She was about, let me see, I think she was probably about five, 5 years old.
So what do you remember from that night?
All I remember was, um, we were, Janasia and myself were downstairs in the kitchen, and then I heard something bust in the door. And the next thing I heard after that was gunshots, and I just seen, you know, everything was just flying all over the place. The couch was flipped over, and I just grabbed Janasia, ran upstairs, and her and I got up under the bed, and we just laid there, and I just laid there holding my daughter.
Mm,
Just if I have never prayed, I prayed that night.
mm.
If I had
Uh,
never prayed, I prayed that night. Lord,
uh,
please, first of all, they were downstairs, whoever the crew was downstairs, and
right.
we were upstairs. So I didn't know what would happen downstairs. I didn't know what I was gonna go look, what I was gonna find when I went down there.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Oh man, yo, that's crazy. Oh, so you still a young mom? You know what I'm saying? You experienced the life. Was this a turning point for you? But like, look, I think I'm ready for this to stop.
yeah, I think that particular time, I was like, okay, we came down here for something different. So at that point, that's when things started to change in my mind, and I was like, okay, we need something different.
Mm,
Um, And I knew at that point I could have lost my life.
Mm.
He could have lost my life, and my baby could have lost her life.
Right.
And so um, my mind started to change right there and then.
Right.
Well, now, did the change happen overnight? No, of
No.
course not. Of course not. When
Very
you
true.
used to live in a certain type of way,
Yeah.
that's what and that's all you know.
Hmm.
So no, the change didn't happen overnight. But I did notice that for me, my mindset started to change. Now,
Mm.
it wasn't spiritual because I still didn't know anything about Christ, or anything like that. It was just a fact that I was like, okay, I'm a mom and a wife. Things have to be different.
Mm.
And so my mindset did start to change at that point.
Mm. Was it at this point now when you thinking, okay, I gotta look out for me and my child. I need to separate myself from this man at this moment. I know you say you love him. I mean, we all been there. We all has love. Like, look, all right, now I'm done. Was that ever that point for you?
Um, Not at that particular time.
Okay.
Not at that not at that particular time. Um, that happened though. I have to be honest. That did happen, but it happened later on.
Okay.
After he had got out of it. Once I started building my relationship with Christ, because at that point, I do have to say this. I still was working on me. I was still trying to be a wife. I was still trying to be a mother. So I had a lot of different things that I had to learn,
Right.
as
Right.
far as being a wife. So at that point, I was still mouthy,
Mm.
really, really mouthy. I would let him have it. I would go off because remember, I still got that same mentality that I had before.
Right.
And I still was mean,
Mm.
but I was nice and mean at the same time because I'm getting a little bit older and I'm changing now,
Right.
but I still had my ways.
Mm.
So not until things, further down the road, it did get to a point where I was like, okay, you know, at this point in my life, and I'm trying to fast forward because I know we probably running out of time,
Yeah.
but I knew that I had to tell the Lord, you know, if this is the man that you have for me, then I need you to save him. And
Mm.
while you saving him, I need you to work on me.
Mm.
But again, I'm learning how to be that wife because I wasn't that wife,
Mm.
And so a lot of the things that we dealt with, um, a lot of people don't know how to take responsibility for what role they play.
Ooh.
And so I had to take responsibility for the role that I played in our relationship and why it came to a head where, you know, we almost, we almost had to split.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it had a lot to do with me, because like I said, I felt like, you know, and I felt like, okay, this is my husband. He owe me something,
Mm.
but nobody don't owe you anything,
Mm.
and so but that's the way I thought, and I felt like everything should go my way. Now, did he put a part in that? Yes, because he gave me everything that I wanted, right? And
Ooh.
so when I wasn't, feeling that or whatever, then I would go off like from
Mm.
0 to 100 in a matter of minutes.
So was that? So I'm gonna ask you a question too, though, and this is going back.
Hmm.
What you? I know you said you confided in him at the time with all your trauma you had going on.
Hmm.
Was there ever a point where you say, "Look, I need bigger help other than just you"?
I did, but I never thought that I needed like therapy or
Mm.
anything like that. I never went that route.
Right.
Because what happened for me, some people now, when you deal with sexual abuse, domestic violence, or anything like that, trauma can lead to mental health,
Mm.
a mental health issue. It can lead to something called neurosis, which means that it's not a mental issue because of disease or anything like that, but it's brought on by a physical thing that happened to you or an emotional thing that happened to you. So I didn't never look at it like I needed a therapist or whatever. I should go talk to somebody because what happened for me was I met a man named Jesus,
Mm.
and that's where my therapy came in, and that's where my healing began.
Right.
And so everybody has to figure out, you know, how they need to get their healing started. For me, it was first start talking about what it was that I had been through. And that was something that I had not did because the enemy would tell you to keep it quiet, be quiet, don't say nothing, and so I hadn't talked about it. But once I began to talk about it, that's when my healing started. So, I admonish anybody if you're going through any type of trauma or anything like that, seek help. You know, my help was Jesus.
Hey. And you know it's crazy though, because and I think a lot of people don't understand, especially us in the black community, that we grew up not thinking about going to therapy. We were told not to go to therapy. You don't want nobody in your business. What happens in this
Hmm.
house stays in this
Stays
house.
in his house.
You don't
Yes,
you
that's
don't
the
tell
thing.
you don't tell nobody what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Hold on a sec. Somebody shouted. You got people shouting there. Look at you. Anyway, but I said, but we had it. What happens is how stayed in this house. We don't tell nobody. But a lot of the times that we find ourselves holding on to that hurt, holding on to that
Hmm.
hate. It was a
Right.
time like I told your husband in our interview was I like you said you went to Jesus. I went away from him.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I went as far as I can try to go. You know what I'm saying? Because like growing up for me, it was instilled in me as a kid. Like my mom was. Let me tell you, my mom was for me. She would play cards on we playing cards and drinking on Saturday. Sunday, you better
But
be up
Sunday,
ready for
yes,
church.
in church.
For church. I mean, she done party all night Saturday. She's had me and my brother up there dancing, looking like we Usher and Tyrese, who was up there just dancing. But we had to be up Sunday morning for church. You know what I'm saying? It was all
Hmm.
of that. But I remember I got to a place where my dark spot was in my life. Well, and I was holding on to all that hate and hurt. We didn't understand who to talk to. I moved to my dad when I was a teenager. I'm like, look, I cannot talk to this man about my personal life. He don't need to
Hmm.
know why I'm hurting. And he was hurting too because he lost a parent too at the same time. And me at that time frame, my mind was either I'm going to fight in the streets, or I'm gonna start smoking, I'm gonna start doing a little something on the side. You know what I'm saying? I'm a party. That was my thing was back then. I was
Hmm.
a party. You don't know about my life, boy. You don't know about my life. Anyway, I mean, all of that, man. I mean, and that was my thing was at that time. So I get what you're saying that you try to hold on to it. You got to find somewhere to confide in. And like I said, it took me to actually hit rock bottom to realize God is gonna pull me out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I remember hitting that rock bottom one day. I'm like, man, somebody, like somebody send me something. And I remember hearing that, like how you say you get that voice speaks to you every once in a while, and I heard that something was trying to talk to me. I'm like, man, I ain't thinking what this nigga talking about.
Hmm.
And that what it was, man. So I commend you for
You,
sharing that part.
you know what? You just said something. You said, how you can be crying out for help when somebody hear me, somebody, you know, hear what I'm saying. I think back, um, in elementary school when I was going through all of those things, and I was like, as bad as I was in school, you know, these educators, these teachers, the social workers that were at the schools, security guards, anybody that was there to educate us, when they, it's a problem to me now when I think back on it, how sometimes our children or children in general, they be crying out for help. They screaming out for help. They don't just come to school just to be bad, just to be bad,
Hmm.
or to do crazy stuff. Can you just look just a little bit deeper? I can remember thinking, do anybody see me? Does anybody, can you, feel what I'm going through? Do you, like the young folks say, you feel me?
Hmm.
Did anybody feel what I was going through? And at that time, even, the teachers and, the principal, nobody never stopped to say, for this little girl to be acting like this and doing the things that she's doing, something must be wrong, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And I wonder, I don't know how it is now because I'm not a teacher. I don't know what the teachers learn in their studies when they're in school or whatever. But do
Mhm.
they learn how to recognize those different um, issues, or know how to recognize when a child is going through something?
Right.
Do you see the warning signs? you know I don't know, but it's something when the children are overlooked in school,
Mhm.
and then they get labeled, and things like that. But sometimes we just have to look a little bit deeper because it's more than what it looks like.
And that is true. That is 100% true. I remember working in the school, working in the school like board, whatever, and I was a mentor for a few years. And I remember watching these. Our watch teacher actually label these kids as problem kids and push them off. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And that's why I would come in because I was like the mentor for the problem kids, quote unquote. And I was like, a lot of times I used to tell them like, have you ever talked to them, see what's going on with them?
Right.
Like with me, when I was growing up, when I went through all the stuff I was going through, and I knock on wood, there was this one teacher I had named Miss Pat. She was the guidance counselor at the elementary school I was at. She really wanted. She just pulled me to the side and she was like, you need a counselor, you need a mentor." And she got me. She gave me a mentor, and she didn't tell me why. I never knew why she picked me out of everybody. But she's like, you need somebody that's going to talk to. And we had this guy would come eat lunch with me every day, bring me gifts and all this other stuff. I'm like, who this white man? Like, what this? Anyway, but then what it was though. So let's get back into your story. Get back into your story before we get off this. So you did say that you say you turned to Jesus,
Hmm.
and he was say he was helping you go through it. Now I do know, even though you was going to Jesus, Lashawn was still there. like
Sure was.
Lashawn still there. Like, look, all right, I still got the mouth. So when did it start getting to a point where you like, okay, maybe I got to chip away at this hard edge. When was this?
Um, well, you remember I told you, I expressed a little bit before. So I'm not gonna go into detail because
Yeah,
you got to get the book for
you
that.
got to get the book, y'all.
But I remember, I remember, like I said, a time where I went to the Lord and I told the Lord, um, you know, if this is the man that you have for me,
Mhm.
then save him. But while you're working on him, work on me. And
Right.
so then the Lord began to show me myself. He brought people into my life to tell me, to show me, um, how I was handling the situation, was not the best way to handle it.
Mhm.
You might have to handle it a little bit differently than that. You can't go off, you can't do this, you can't,
Mhm.
because one thing that women don't understand is that, first and foremost, you can't change no man.
Mhm.
That's the first thing. And that's our problem. We try to change the man. We can't change him. That's not our job. First of all, they have to want to change.
Mhm.
That's the first thing. So we can't change a man. The second thing is women, have to learn that you can't talk down to your man. If anything, encourage him, lift him up. You do those things, he'll be the best man that you have.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things that I had to learn. Stop downing this brother. Men don't like that.
No,
They
they
do
don't.
not. They despise that. They despise, a woman talking down to them.
Mhm.
And so especially if the man is trying to do the very best that he can.
Mhm.
And so, we have to learn that. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of feedback from that because a lot of women don't understand, don't believe that, don't believe in that. But
Mhm.
I haven't been married for 27 years and with my husband for 32, going on 33 years if I didn't learn something.
Something. You're right.
So, um, I mean, it is what it is. You know,
Mhm.
it's a better way to communicate and talk to somebody instead of talking at a person or talking down to a person. And that's the thing. I mean, we women, we got all kind of gifts. So use the gifts with your man, with your husband, and you'll get a better result.
Hold on a second. We got somebody come in. I will tune back and okay. All right, somebody acquire her. So you better get the shouting for me then. Anyway, so hey, so I know. So now, them prayers that you done put in for your husband,
Hmm.
it's slowly starting to work. Okay,
Right.
my man say, you know what? All right, I'm gonna go to the church service with you this weekend. I'm gonna go this weekend.
Hmm.
And you done beat him side of the head to go, but now he's going.
Right.
And so what was that feeling for you to see that it's starting to switch over? This life you was living is starting to end, and this new one is about to embark.
I think for me, when I seen that, it gave me hope
Mm,
because I knew everything that I had ever wanted for us would
mhm,
be possible, just by that one change. Um, him stepping up to be, the husband that he's supposed to be, me stepping up to be the wife that I'm supposed to be, and both of us working together to be parents to our children,
right.
giving our children a different life than from what we had. That was the most important thing to me. So when I seen him walk into that church that day, I think that that was the best thing ever
Mm. And
for
then
me.
that started this road of salvation coming around here.
Yes,
Because
sir.
let me tell you, man, like, when I tell you that I love the way I love about y'all is that y'all keep it real, man. From the time I met y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because my wife and coach, she was all like, you gotta meet the Sams. You gotta meet the Sams. And and at that time when I first met y'all, by then I'm like, man, come on, I don't want to meet no the church. I don't want to be in the church. Like, Lord. And I say this right here though. I was grateful to meet y'all, man, and y'all have became pretty. I still say y'all are one of our best friends. You know what I'm saying? And I love seeing y'all grow. To see y'all finally got your own church and seeing y'all turn around and doing y'all trips because y'all anniversaries around my birthday weekend, so we all have. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? It was always a good time, man. But now, where are we now? Because you a college educated businesswoman. You know what I'm saying? Where are we now?
So, I mean, now we're just enjoying life. We're enjoying seeing our children becoming adults, and well, we have adult children, so them starting their lives. Now we have our grandson, so we're enjoying life, enjoying each other. One thing, my husband said to me, he was like, every year we're gonna do something because we're gonna make memories every year. So we're gonna make memories so that we can have those memories when we sitting on our steps when we old and gray. We can look back at our life and say, this is what we've done. We have beautiful children. I'm proud of each one of them. I love them. And I'm so excited about my grandson. So
Yeah.
now it's just, working on just, doing life together. And that's what we do. We do life together. So,
Okay.
now, we do have our own ministry. We're working that together. He pushes me. Um, a lot. I push him,
Mhm.
just like when we was in the street, I was his rider. Now that we in Jesus, I'm still his rider.
Come
And
on now.
so I'm gonna be by his side. I'm gonna continue to pray for him. I'll be there for him. And nobody better not mess with him because LaShawn's still in here.
Hey, look, man.
So,
So, because you going back to school, right?
I'm in school now, yes.
Okay.
Hopefully I will be finished either by May or
Okay.
December of 2025. So I'm back in school for my master's, yes.
Look, go ahead now. Go ahead now. Look, I'm back in school too, and I'm crying every day. This is the hardest
Me
thing
too.
the hardest thing
Yes.
I ever did in my life, man. I don't know how people do it. Work, go to school, and raise kids. I can't do this. But
It's a
it
lot.
is a
It'll
lot,
pay
man.
off in the long run. It'll pay off in the long run.
I need to pay. I need that paycheck now. I am broke. We need some money. Like
You're not broke. Don't say you broke. You just low.
I'm gonna
You
tell
low.
Like Cole tell me the same thing. I'm in between blessings. I get it. All right.
Right.
I get it.
Absolutely.
Oh man, look, I'm gonna wrap this up, man. But I'm gonna tell you this right
Okay.
here. I want everybody because we couldn't get into the story like we want to get into the story. 'Cause I need y'all to read this book because I like from what if y'all go back and like look just know y'all need to read this book and and Miss LaShawn right here. Let me tell you this. I commend you for everything you've been through. I can't wait to see what you have next because over the past few years of me knowing you, I've seen you grown into three different personalities. Like so,
Wow.
you know what I'm saying? And I just seen it, it's such a blessing. And like I said, I'm very inspired by you and your husband. You know what I'm saying? Now I ain't gonna lie to you and say that the call came from me yet. Now the call ain't here yet. Nah, but
I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you.
oh man, but I mean he might be on call waiting right now. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But like I said, but I'm so inspired by y'all too, and everything y'all been through is a testimony for the future. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, trust me. Read the book, y'all. A Queen's Love Story, man, and I can't wait for y'all to check this out. When are you planning on having this book out?
Hopefully it will be out the summer of this year,
Okay,
2025.
okay. You know where that people can find it at so far, or you have idea?
Not as of yet, but I will be posting that pretty soon within the next upcoming month or within the next 2 months. I should have all of that information for you.
Hold on a second. What said somebody said they can't wait for the book. Hold on, wait a minute. It really was. I can't wait for the book. All right, all right. Hold on, somebody, people in the comments just going with. Look, you got a support system right here. That I done had like I get like two people in my little chats. You get everybody. I can't wait until my husband walk through the door, them doors. All right. Then when he walk through, then don't make his head hurt when he come in the house. All right, hold on a second. Someone says he's coming, sis. All right.
Hold on, he coming.
Oh my God, man. Hey, Miss LaShawn, thank you so much for just allowing me to be the person you share your story with, allowing my platform be where you can let everybody know about your upcoming ventures. And when this book come back. You welcome back anytime. And you let us
Well,
know
thank you.
that we can go in depth in this book. I want y'all. It's some stuff that I know I just can't say. I'm trying not to say it,
Right.
but it's some stuff I want to say, and we could have had some. We could have really dug deep in some stuff, but
Hmm.
I want everybody to get a little taste of what's going on. One second. Yes, can't give all the nuggets for free. Get the book. That's right. Oh man, but look, thank you so much. Can you let everybody know where they can find you, your husband, your ministry, your church?
Sure. You can find me on Facebook at Lashawn Sam. I am on Instagram. I am Lady Sam. So those are the only two platforms that I got that I know how to work. My kids and the young folk from church, they working with me. Thank y'all. Shout out to JSAM Ministries. You can find my husband also on Facebook at Jimmy Sam. Our Facebook, the church Facebook page is JSAM Ministries,
Mm-hmm.
all one word, JSAM Ministries. Um, we have service on every Sunday
Mm-hmm.
at 1:30 p.m. We're located at 518 Village Court in the city of Garner, North Carolina. Let me tell you something. You don't have to do this walk alone. We are family. We are family, and we're here for you.
And let me tell you this right, they offer everything you need now. From like I miss y'all. I miss y'all little love that love show now. When y'all come on in, y'all I miss that.
Our relationship talk,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
that's coming. That's coming back. Stay
You,
tuned.
you
That'll
have
be
you have
back.
yeah. Me and my wife in here fighting. We arguing like no, no. I know. I miss that. Oh man. So let me go ahead and wrap this up real quick. I want to thank Miss LaShawn. I want to thank her followers because she got them in the chat. And I want to thank them so much for viewing this show, man. And I will hope y'all view all my other shows, man. This is your little big brother Eric G. Check out this show, Random Thoughts with Eric G. And plus all my other shows. It's on YouTube on all platforms. Just Google my name, Random Thoughts with Eric G. You definitely gonna find me. Now I'm gonna tell y'all now, I cuss. So I'm trying to get right. So some shows you might not want to watch. All right. But anyway, hey y'all, but I'm gonna tell y'all, man, please support the show. Please support this beautiful, beautiful young lady right here. I can't wait to see what happens next. And like I always say, God bless you. Peace. Hold on, let me play a little bit of Angie Stone. The recipes to Angie Stone. I love
Can't you
her.
see my sunshine?
Um, uh,
So you say you're in your prime.